everyone, Sophia here from My Great Challenge. I am doing a video today about some of the things that I love to talk the most about, and it's stuff. I know that a lot of people get very upset when I bring things into the house, but you know what? Live your life, okay? I love vintage finds. I love thrifting. It's my, don't mind the dog, it's my therapy, treasure hunt. And for the most part, everything goes on Etsy. And then I do keep one item once in a while. Yeah, it looks like I'm decluttering and keeping stuff. And things rotate, and 2 years down the road, I remove them from my house, I resell them, or I just donate them. And this has been my lifestyle for a very long time. And quite frankly, I don't feel that I need to apologize for it. I am not the only one. If you go on YouTube, and you search vintage finds, there's thousands of people who do the exact same thing. They like stuff, they like old things, they like to hunt, they like to research items, they love old objects, they like to display them, they like to make little vignettes in their homes, and then, you know, 6 months down the road, they change the little vignette. They play with their things, and that's what they do, and that's what I do, and I enjoy it. This is what brings me joy and makes me happy. Does it hurt anyone? No. Nobody's hurt, and actually my family enjoys watching me get all giddy and excited over a darn plate, okay? Some people go out and do happy hours. Some people, theater is their thing. Some people, traveling is their thing. Some people like to hike. Some people like to crochet. Some people like to paint. Some people do all sorts of activities. They do yoga. They, you know, whatever floats your boat. This is my boat. Okay, this is what I like to do. So this is my little vignette here that I put together this week. I was playing with it for quite some time, actually. This is, I'm going to turn off the light so you can see the colors a little bit better. This is a lamp that I found on the street last week. It's an antique Chinese lamp. Actually, I think it was a vase that was later made into a lamp. So this particular shape here is actually called a rouleau vase, because, you know, the French took over chinoiserie quite a long time ago. Around the time of Marie Antoinette, there was a lot of chinoiserie going on when China and the silk trade started to get really big. And it's called a rouleau shape because back in the days, the Chinese would smash grains of millet with a wooden roller that you would handle by the neck right here, and then you would just pass it and smash the grains with. So this is called a rouleau shape, and it's got peonies on it and a bird that looks like a either a pheasant or a female peacock. And this particular lamp, when I found it on the street, was actually broken. The wire was not working, and the top part was tilted and broken, so they threw it out on the street. I picked it up, and for 11 bucks I rewired the whole thing, and now I have a beautiful lamp. So that's my little vignette that's going on right now. And I have Deb's little flowered teacup here that has a music box on it, and if you watch the channel for a while, you know about my musketeer. And then these are fabulous too, and I think I've shown them to you before. They are actual Victorian magazines. This one is 1901, which is really the end of it, on outfits, fashion, the delineator, and the other one is the Young Ladies Journal. So they are from 1890 to 1901. So this is the kind of stuff that I like and makes me happy. I would spend hours looking at those things when I need to unwind. This is what I do. A lot of people watch trash TV or sports or, you know, whatever. I read about antiques and vintage stuff. So today what I'm going to show you are the latest finds that are going to go on Etsy. And these are things that I've not shown yet because some of them I found sometimes in between the last 2 weeks. and there's not a lot, but they are very, very nice things. The first thing I want to show you, there was actually a lot that I purchased at a thrift store in my area. And I guess they had them priced already before, but they weren't selling them, so they put them as a lot. And they are all hand-painted Bavaria plates. So the ones that I'm putting on Etsy are the ones that have the gold leafing still intact. I try to sell things that do not have damage. And just a little bit of history on those. Whenever look at the design on this. So this is all hand painted. But when you find a plate like this that appears to be old, and you can see that it's not, a transfer wear, the easiest way to find out is if you look at it very closely, and you can use one of those magnifiers if you have poor vision or you can tell. So if you look at it with the magnifier and you don't see a little dot matrix, okay, it's hand painted, and very often when you touch it you can feel the brush strokes, or you can see the brush strokes. So when you find a plate like this and you find that it's not marked in the back and it only has like a number or something like this, very often what it is that these are plates that were sold to housewives plain white, or maybe they wear a plain green or plain pink. And one of the things that the ladies used to do back in those days was to paint porcelain and tiles. So they would stay at home the same way that we do scrapbook now, or I do quilting. One of the things that ladies around Victorian time would do when they weren't doing embroidery and mending, they would be painting some of those plates, and they would have them displayed on the mantle or in the dining room. When we went to Ohio, we visited President James Garfield's home, and I'm going to put a picture right here. This is James Garfield's dining room mantle, and all of the plates that you see on top were actually the same type of plates that I'm talking about. These were all plates that were painted by Mrs. Garfield and the children in the house. So when you see a plate again like this that doesn't have a stamp in the back saying Bavaria or Minkin or any kind of Haviland, whatever from that time period, very likely they are hand painted by the lady in the house. And this one, I gotta tell you, she did a fantastic job. Look at this. I mean, women were so talented back then. Granted, they had nothing else to do. So true. But it's beautiful. So it's this plate, and then part of the lot was this plate as well. And this one is signed Prussia Royal Rudolfstadt. You can see that right here. And this is obviously part of a service, but there's only one of them. I'm going to look at it with my magnifier. This is a transferware. I wish I could show you in close-ups, and I don't know if you can see it, but this is not hand painted. This is a transferware, and what they did is that in addition to the transferware, they added a few brush strokes that give it a relief. But this is not hand painted, but it's beautiful regardless, and it's got the gold leafing on it. Very pretty plate. Interestingly, there's the stamp in the back that is a star. I don't know if you can see that. Another plate was this one. This one is also very pretty, and this is by ONEG Royal Austria. I'm going to look at it again. So you see, when you want to identify things, right, your best friend is the magnifier. And this is very similar. This is a transferware that has added brush strokes to it, and it's also signed right here by the artist who did it. This is a very, very pretty plate. So again, what they do is that they transfer the design, and then the artist would come in and fill in here and there little designs. Roses, pretty. And then there's this one here. This is by K&L Germany. This is more like a vegetable bowl, and again this is part of a service. This one, the gold, if there was any, is all gone, so that leads me to think that there was none. This is more of a lusterware anyway, and they are hydrangeas. Beautiful. All right on. Are they hand painted or transferred? This is also a transferware. So when you look at it again closely, you're going to see all those little dots. It almost looks like fingerprints. And then the last one is this one, which I am keeping. See, I keep once in a while something that just strike my fancy and I really, really like. This is also a vegetable bowl, but this is not from Austria. This is hand painted Nippon, which means Japan. So if you are interested in this kind of stuff, up until about 1875, it would be written in Japanese. From 1875 to about 1920, it would say Nippon. Then it said Japan. Not made in Japan, it would just say Japan. And that was all the way up to 1946. You'll see made in occupied Japan. And after that, it was made in Japan. So when you see the stamp and it says Nippon, you know that this is between 1875 and 1920, if you want, or just about, if you want to time it. So again, this is a vegetable bowl. I'm going to look at it. I think it's hand painted and not a transferware, but it's very pretty. Yes, this is all hand painted. This is not a transferware. If you can see that. So what you do with something like this, right? Obviously you want to display it if you want to keep it, but I wouldn't put anything in it because one, it would scratch the surface, and two, it would hide the design. So it's probably going to end up either here as a decorative item, or I'll put it on the dining room table or on the side buffet, and then I can also use it upstairs if I wanted to as a decorative item. I just love it. It's very pretty. The gold is kind of rubbed off, and it's also rubbed off evenly, which tells me that this was washed not very well and scrubbed not very well. It wasn't put in the dishwasher, but it wasn't cared for nicely. But anyway, I love it, and that one I'm keeping. So now we're moving on to other things I found at the thrift store. Do you remember, I think it was 2 years ago, I found a big black vase on the side of the road. I ended up selling it for quite a big chunk of money. It was a Barro Negro. I found another one. I found this one, and this is Barro Negro. It's Mexican pottery from a particular region. I write it right here, where the mud, the clay that they use is actually black. And it is signed HF at the bottom. Now the issue with some of those, I mean, I know this one is vintage because I researched it, but when you find Barro Negro, a lot of times they still make them, and they still make them for the tourist market. So very often you don't know if you got an old piece or if you have a new piece. And I've checked, they don't make those anymore. So this is probably a Barro Negro from the 1960s or 1970s that somebody purchased in Mexico and brought back. It's in excellent condition, and I think it's really pretty. Now, obviously, you can't put water in it because it is reticulated, but it would be beautiful to display let's say a collection of feathers, if you do that, because people do collect feathers, or you can display dry flowers, or you just leave it like this. It probably would look better if it was a pear, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, the roosters. I have two of those. I have one that is a Carnival glass in blue, and I wish I could, maybe if I go like this, okay, See the color? All right. This one is really, really good. And what's interesting about it is that it also has a manufacturing defect. So you'd be surprised, but collectors actually look for things like that because that's what makes them kind of unique. If you look at the edges here, they're pretty even. And then, oops, there's a dip right here. And this dip is not a break. It's a manufacturing defect because it's all molded and you know, part of it. This one is really, really pretty. And what did people do with those? Well, obviously they were in the kitchen and they would be put on the counter, and very often they were used as salt cellars where the grain salt, the big coarse salt would go, and the ladies would just pull that out, get their, like I have a salt box, would come out and pull out the salt, or you could use them to display candy or whatever. Now those are really collectible. There's a lot of people who collect all the roosters. They have every single one of them. They made the roosters, actually this is a hen. They made hens, roosters, they made lambs. They made them in big and small, in tiny individual salt cellars, and these people who collect every single one of them. This one is absolutely stunning. It's in perfect shape. So that's the first one I got. Then I got another one. And this one is a little bit smaller, but it's a frosted blue glass. And I think, I gotta research it again. I'll put all the names right here, but I think this is an Ellie Smith. This is not a Westmoreland. I think this is an Ellie Smith, and I don't think it's a Fenton. But it's really pretty. It's a little bit smaller. Again, it's frosted blue glass, and this one probably would look better in a bathroom or a bedroom to put tchotchkes or, you know, whatever in it, rather than in the kitchen. The other one's a little bit more of a statement. So I'm going to compare the sizes so you can see the difference in, I don't know if you can tell, the difference in sizes. They were so popular. So popular. Now this one is a tiny chip right here, very small. I posted those on Facebook and Instagram the other day, and I'm gonna give you a close-up. These are Delph Polychrome, and those two plates are the proof that you can still find treasures at Goodwill. They are stunning, probably from the 60s or 70s. They don't make the pattern anymore. They're polychrome by Delph. Polychrome meaning that there's more than one color, but Delph is more known for its blue. Blue on blue and white, you know, with the windmills and the ships. You know Delph, okay. So they're not very well known for faience like this. People do not associate Delph necessarily with this kind of faience or pottery, but these are absolutely fabulous, in perfect shape. They were $9.99 each, and they are hanging platters. They are made to be hanging platters. I'm going to put a series of pictures here of people who collect plates and put plates on their wall. This is something that's been going on for a very long time, the hanging the plates on the wall. Around the Middle Ages and a little bit after, before people started to have a lot of furniture in their home and cupboards, they had no place to put their plates. So plates were actually put on walls. That was the only way to make sure that, first of all, the first plates were pewter because people couldn't afford this kind of stuff. But when they were able to afford this kind of plates or any kind of faience, porcelain or ironstone type plates, they didn't necessarily have the furniture, the cupboards to put them in. So plates were very commonly put on walls, and this is a tradition that people have kept for many, many years. And there's a lot of folks who do put plates on their walls, who use platters, in particular big platters that are difficult to place in a cupboard would go on a wall. So these were specifically made to be put on walls, and you know that because in the back there's two particular holes, there's special holes in the back with the wire so that you can affix it to the wall. If they were not meant for wall decor, they would not have the holes, and then you would have to get those particular, those specific wire, spring-loaded plate holders, which I hate because to me, they actually do damage the plates. So these are the two that I found. So it's been a good week or a good 2 weeks in sourcing stuff for the Etsy shop, and it makes me happy. I am super happy to be spending time in the evening. Again, when most people would be winding down, watching a sitcom or watching the news or whatever, I'm sitting down with my phone or my iPad and I'm researching this stuff and I'm learning about it. This is what feeds me. This is what makes me happy. It doesn't hurt anybody. And to me, it's time well spent. So I just wanted to share a little bit of the finds that I have. Don't expect them to be on Etsy right now because I have to process them, I have to wash them, I have to photograph them, I have to measure them, box them and all of that. That's going to take me a couple of days, if not weeks, to do so, but be on the lookout. The link is down below. But really the point of this conversation here was just to convey with you how joyful this stuff makes me and how happy I am with my stuff in my home, putting things together, decorating, switching things around, changing decor. I don't want any permanency in terms of the decorative style in my house because that's how I am. I am not a permanent person. It's, you know, or I'm all over the place, and so is my house, and I don't think we would want it any other way because it's a reflection of who I am and who we are. I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for watching. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at My Great Challenge. Again, my Etsy shop is Frenchy and Tubby on Etsy. It's going to take me a couple of weeks to process those. I'm probably going to process other things as well, which I've shown in other videos earlier in the last 2 weeks. And then you can find me on Patreon for a more intimate look into my life at patreon.com/mygreatchallenge. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Hey, it's me, and guess what? Click that thumbs up if you really like this video. Thumbs down twice if you didn't. You can also share my video if you really liked it, or save it to watch later. Also, you can subscribe to my channel, but don't forget to click that bell button so you are always notified when I post a new video. Thank you for watching.